Just keeping within the same format of the video. Here's this Porta-Power. It's by Blackhawk Automotive, and it's rated at 10,000 psi, which is more than what the cylinder packs are rated at. They're only rated at 8,800. Some of them are rated even smaller, but it seemed like that was about 200 or 250 bucks. I've had it for, I don't know, maybe 15 years now. And it has a label on it, almost looks like a Harbor Freight label, but I had to order that online somewhere. Call them treadle pumps. And then this cylinder here is part of a hydraulic kit that I had gotten from Harbor Freight maybe, I don't know, 10, 15 years ago. I think it says it's a 7-piece or a 9-piece or something. I'll take a snap of that here in a second. And then here's the meat and potatoes here. These are 1/2-inch mild steel. They're, I don't know, 4.5 inches wide. And then these here are, I borrowed them from my hydraulic press. They look like 3.5 or 4-inch by 3/4. They're just mild steel. We use them to keep things straight when we're pressing on things. This here is just a piece of pipe here that I had cut. It fits on the outside of the 2-inch pipe, and then I welded some, I think this is 3/8 or 1/2-inch chunks of steel in there, and then beefed them up really big because I thought they were going to be just fine for press on the pipe. And then I have a couple of these tiny little shims here. These are just aluminum, and they slip in right here on the very edge and kind of help to keep the pipe from deforming because that will just crush, it'll just crush the pipe. So that little saddle right there isn't quite big enough. So anyway, you put that against the pipe, and then you put the hydraulic cylinder against the backer right there, and then the cylinder presses up against the deal, or these two. And you know, if you make something like that, I don't know if you have to make it that, you know, heavy, but just one of those ideas, you know. We were informed that our property lines were incorrect and they were getting rid of the fence post next door. And so when they were tearing out the fence, we borrowed a couple of their posts that were going to go to the dump. And then on the other side of the property, we've got these posts here that were, my brother had put them in concrete near the edge of the ditch. What we had assumed was the old property line. Turns out the property line's about 8 feet farther over. And up here, I just got through straightening some of these. Some of these were bent really bad. One of them seems like I just about totally crushed the pipe on it. But you know, fence posts they're expensive. They're like 50 bucks a piece for the conduit. So we reuse them a little bit. So okay, and I'll show you a picture of my Porta-Power kit. So here's the old Harbor Freight or Garbage Freight or Hoard Freight or whatever people call Harbor Freight these days. 7-piece Porta-Power. It's a Ram kit. There's item number. Ooh, the manual still there. Keep this plastic bag away from children. Keep the whole kit away from adults. So the cylinders, which are nice. There's a set of push cylinders You know, one there, one that's out there. Here's a tiny one here. I think this is also a 10-ton. Is it? Well, this is only a 4-ton here, but it only has about 1-inch throw on it. And then this here is a pulling cylinder, and I have another pulling cylinder that's inside that I managed to get the connector, snap the connector off, and looked all over to try to get a connector for these and couldn't find them. Turns to find out they give you an extra one in the kit. So, and then they give you a set of hooks too, and these will actually screw into the back of the cylinder. There's one for the larger cylinder, and then there's also a set of hooks here for the smaller cylinder. And you hook it up to something and it'll pull the dickens out of it. So this one here is rated at 5 tons. And it's a pull cylinder. It's the same size as this one here, but this is a push cylinder. It's rated at 10 tons. So, but anyway, just a Harbor Freight kit. If you have to, like, you know, move something or bend some metal or tweak something, or you wouldn't believe how fast this will pull a post out of the ground with, you know, 4 or 5 sacks of cement on it. You just use the push cylinder and wrap a chain around the pipe a few times and get a good pinch on it, and this will yank them right out of the ground. So and then, you know, I think Harbor Freight makes another kit that's got a hand operated pump, and it's got a whole set of hydraulic stuff on it too. I have one somewhere around here. Must be still outside out here. I'm cleaning out the garage. This is one of those Father's Day projects. And it has turned into a big giant ordeal. Now this here is so old that I got it before Harbor Freight even existed. You know, it was some company coming around, and they'd have these like 1 or 2 day a year sales. They'd set up in an armory somewhere, a big stadium, and then they'd have all this junk out there and all the Chinesey stuff. And I'm like, oh man, that looks cool. I gotta have that. Well, let's lay this thing here out. J.M. Jongman. Oh, look at all that stuff there. But it's a little bit bigger unit. It's got the hydraulic pump in the middle, hand operated. I blew the hose up on that like a couple years after I got it, and then I went down and had a real hydraulic hose made for it. I think that's I don't know, like a 10,000 or 20,000 psi hydraulic hose, but it's got pushers, feet, it's got extensions. It's got the one big ram, and then it's got a tiny one. I have a feeling that I bought that as an aftermarket deal. But all the other orange pieces you see in there are extensions and fittings. There's this one here's a push shoe that goes on the end of the cylinder. Here's a splitter here. Here's one that you can use to hook a chain onto or push against a rod. I never forgot what the ball is for. This one here, you can screw it on the back of the cylinder or on the top of the cylinder and use it to pull. Also got a mini little jaws of life there that will, separate something. So anyway, it's been a really useful kit over the years. You see, this one isn't even made in China. This one's made in Taiwan. Ooh. The hydraulic pump leaks, so when I leave it flat like this, it'll leak. and it'll make a big giant puddle. Like I said, this leaks, the pump leaks, and all the fittings kind of leak a little bit. So when I store it laying flat like this, it leaks, and so to keep it from leaking, I set it on its side, and I don't expect it to ever have any oil in it when I set up. But anyway, that's pretty much some of my hydraulic fun toys. Okay, thanks for watching.